The national leader in sports media and production is in Ball State's College of Communication, Information, and Media. SportsLink is developing the next generation of creative storytellers and producers. The best stories in Ball State sports and live productions to ESPN platforms from day one. This is Ball State SportsLink.
Coming up on this episode of SportsLink Stories, meet the setter who's leading Ball State men's volleyball to a championship season.
And we'll head to the pool to meet two members of the swimming and diving team.
All this and more this month on SL Stories.
Victory Honda of Muncie is proud to support the student athletes at Ball State and the students in SportsLink. For more info, visit victorymuncie.com.
Every hit, every spike, every goal. Every celebration. Every story. From the creative storytellers in Ball State SportsLink, this is SportsLink Stories.
Welcome inside the SportsLink studios here on the campus of Ball State University for this edition of SportsLink Stories presented by Victory Honda of Muncie. I'm Hudson French.
I'm Madison Surface, and Charlie Mao will be joining us a little later today. The best stories in Ball State sports all in one show every month from the creative storytellers in SportsLink. Let's get started.
If you've ever seen a Ball State track and field meet, you may be doing a double take. Meet the twin sisters that elevated Ball State this spring.
My name is Jennah Rodgers. I'm a hurdler here at Ball State. My name is Jennelle Rodgers. I'm a multi. Of course, we are twins, so we're super close. Really, she's been with me through everything. Like, it's a one-of-a-kind relationship. What I remember, we were always together, always getting into mischief. We were always picking on the little brother, you know, messing around, making fun of him. She's just my partner in crime, always been. We kind of did everything together. We already have similar interests, like we used to play basketball together. Basketball, the connection was amazing. Like, we knew where to go. We always knew like where each other was on the court. It was always fun confusing the defenders because we always dressed the same, of course, and had our hair the same. We'd have little twin moments where one is able to get the ball to the other. I feel like sports have really brought us closer together. On the track, we're always giving each other feedback, always seeing what we did wrong. I always love to watch her compete, and I think she likes to watch me compete too, and we're always cheering for each other the loudest. We kind of feed off each other. When one's not doing well, we're able to kind of help them out, get them going again.
Their relationship is really comical because, again, they're sisters, but you know they can get at each other, and it's just funny to kind of see the banter between both of them.
You always have someone to talk to, hang out with, even though she gets on your nerves literally all the time. You have somebody who understands you, someone who's always there with you, someone who really knows how you're feeling or can read your expressions from across the room.
It's just really cool to kind of just see them grow together.
Off the track, I'm not the most talkative person, I'm not the most outgoing. I can be a bit serious, so I feel like she's the lighter half. She's always cracking jokes and she's being funny. She really allows me to open up.
I was fortunate enough to go to college with my brother, and you know, we were just really had each other's back, and so I think with the Rodgers sisters, I believe that that's consistent.
I am absolutely happy that she's with me. I feel like she brings out the best in me. She's taught me to really stick through it even when times are tough. I feel like there's always a special moment when I'm with her. I'm always happy when I'm with her.
Not only are the sisters setting records on the track, but they're getting it done in the classroom as both sisters were named to the academic All-MAC team.
Jennelle has a 3.9 grade point average as an interior design major, and Jennah has a 3.6 GPA in visual arts and animation.
Now we're going to turn it over to Charlie Maurer and own Sports Production Center next door.
Thanks, guys. And as we're close to wrapping up the semester here at Ball State, this is the place where our crew has been churning out the best stories in Ball State sports all year long. One of those pieces of content is a new series focused on freshman student athletes called Rising Stars. Meet Reece Manning, who's been breaking records in the pool all year.
Well, it started with my parents, not wanting me to drown. So they put me in swim lessons, and then that evolved into a summer league swim team. And I found out I was a little bit good at it, so I joined a club team, and now I'm here. I really like the camaraderie, having the team with you and then going through just those common experiences and just more being there for each other than the actual sport itself. I chose Ball State because I had a sister who went to college down in Evansville, and then she pressured me to look at Indiana, and then from my first call with the coaches, I clicked great with them, and then after my visit, I knew this was a place I wanted to be. I was the only one from my area coming here. No one knew me, so I feel like I could really just be myself a bit more than I had in the past. So the fresh start was definitely my favorite part. Top 5 athletes of all time. Okay. Number 1, I'll go with Caleb Dressel. My sister was a student at Mizzou when he broke his first American record there. So I remember explaining to her what an American record was, and I've kind of been a fan of him ever since. Number 2, I've debated with people if he is an actual athlete, but I like to go with Lightning McQueen. Just a great documentary about his career. I've seen all 3 in theaters, without a doubt. And if there's a 4th, I'll go see that one in theaters. Ka-chow, there you go. Either God or my mama know what I need. It's a Zach Bryan lyric. He's a country singer. I consider myself a religious person. Whenever I'm unsure about something, I pray, and then also I call my mom. I love my mom, and she always has good advice I need to hear or a solution to my exact problem. It gives me that perspective of this isn't everything, You can get frustrated over a race or a bad practice, and you can get excited over a good race or a good practice, but at the end of the day, there's still, so much more you have yet to do. It just kind of helps me keep everything in perspective, I'd say. I see the term rising star as, obviously someone who's young with a lot of potential and could go on to do great things. They just have to put the work in to achieve said things. I see myself as a rising star because of how far I have to go and how much room I feel like I have for growth in swimming and life in general.
It's going to be so much fun watching Reece's career over the next few years here at Ball State. You can catch the full Rising Stars series at BSU SportsLink on social media. Now, we've already talked about one record-setting swimmer here at Ball State. How about another? Marcella, Ribiero, already a MAC champion as a sophomore.
I'm from Uberlândia, Minas Gerais, and when I was 15 years old, I moved out from my parents' house to go to São Paulo and to continue my swim practice and my studying. In Brazil, I used to spend a lot of time with my friends, hanging out with them. I used to study at night, so I had practice in the morning, practice in the afternoon, and just go to school at 6 p.m. and stay there until 11. At Brazil, I won some of our states meet, I won our nationals, I got 3 medals in our World School Championship, and in my last year, represent my swim club, I got first place in the 10 kilometers open water.
taking this step to come to the United States. I mean, it's scary for students to go 4 hours from home, 2 hours from home. You know, she packed up, went, you know, a continent away. And so for her to walk through this, trust her teammates, learn how to trust her teammates and her coaches, and really just become what being a Cardinal is all about. It's just really, really cool to watch. So it's been really fun.
I think in the beginning it was a very hard process, especially because English is not my first language. So come here and talk with everyone, I was very scared to like say things wrong and no one understood me.
Marcella is an awesome teammate. Her teammate, she makes people laugh. She's extremely focused, really tough on herself, sometimes too tough.
I think I'm a very hard person to work with, and I feel like being part of this team, like we've been working on that. Like Coach Jay is always like trying to get the best part of me, and I feel like this is something that I need to work with, and I just feel being part of this team and being here is always like push me hard to be a better person and be a better teammate and not just worry like about like my results. It's more like think about a whole team and not just like about me. I think my favorite part of being part of the swim team here is being part of a team. I broke the record in the 200 free, in the 500 free, in the 1,000 and in the mile. For me it was very special because I wasn't expecting that. I feel like here everyone wants to support you and everyone get really excited with your result. They're always cheering you up. I just came here like to swim and do my best, and when you get like such expressive results, you get very excited and you're like ready to do more and drop more times.
Terrific work from both of our crews on those stories. Safe to say the record board at Llewellyn Pool is going to change quite a bit in the next few years.
Absolutely. And moving on to Ball State softball, the team is working to place in the top 4 of the Mid-American Conference postseason. But for this to happen, they're going to need a strong performance from junior Deborah Jones in the circle.
Deborah Jones is going to be our leader in the circle. You know, she's the oldest in the bullpen, and she has really taken some of these young ones under her wing and kind of guided them, and what really makes a bullpen and a pitching staff really successful.
So the outsides, like the 0s and the 7s, we're always having a blast at practice. We're always like enjoying like each other's presence. Going into pitching, like we're more relaxed with each other. We take a lot from each other, like just me being older and just learning new things from them. Like we really help each other out.
She's a unicorn, mate. She's really neat. She brings a special energy with her every time she enters the building, and she has the talent to follow it up, you know. She's really the glue that holds the pitching staff together, and that's a mantle that she's taken on her own. It wasn't asked of her, but it was much needed.
So last year I was kind of battling like some torn muscles. This year I'm working more with keeping up with injuries. So I'm really working on strengthening my arms, just being healthier, eating way more protein, making sure that I'm healthy so I can provide for the team. And that's just what I'm really focusing on right now. This year I'm more excited to see what this new team has to offer. They're super talented. We have a really good culture outside, so I'm just excited to see how that will be on the field.
The national leader in sports media and production is in Ball State's College of Communication, Information, and Media. SportsLink is developing the next generation of creative storytellers and producers. The best stories in Ball State sports and live productions to ESPN platforms from day one. This is Ball State SportsLink.
It's been a magical season for first-year head coach Donan Cruz and the men's volleyball team led by graduate setter Quinn Isaacson.
Quinn was named All-MIVA first team for the 2nd season in a row and leads all men's volleyball setters in assists per game. But this season means more for Isaacson as he carries the memory of a former teammate.
Isaacson with the crafty dump that time to give the Cardinals the point. Isaacson. Serve again, an ace! And a fist bump. Q-tip.
The last couple of years, I've definitely taken over a leadership role of the team, and it was something that when you grow up with coaches as parents, you're kind of, we'll say the words forced into, because you're always setting the example. That's just what you're taught. But the last 3 years of being a captain, I've just kind of been, hopefully, a good leader to this team, and obviously the on-the-court stuff helps. But if I can set an example for these guys that are going to be juniors and seniors the next couple of years, and they can keep passing it down, we'll keep a great tradition here.
I think just his volleyball IQ has been a huge benefit and asset to us as a coaching staff because he knows the game so well. And he just has a good pulse of the group.
My mom, 2 or 3 years old, she was coaching high school volleyball, and she used to put me in the carts and they would just roll me around. And that's how I started with the game, and slowly but surely I would see the girls play and I wanted to pepper with them, and I was starting to learn how to win. And I finally got pushed to do it a little bit when I was, I think, like 10 years old. My mom was like, oh, you could be really good at this. And I was like, yeah, we'll try it. And they didn't have, at that time, you don't have guys volleyball. So I actually intermixed with girls for my first year. It was me, 2 other guys, and then the rest were girls. And then I was like, maybe this is something I can try more often. And then when I got with guys completely, just to play with, that type of age, and I had a lot of fun. I knew I was going to enjoy it. I first met Matt the year before he played with us. His sister was on one of the top teams for Club 1, and my mom was actually the coach. So I went and watched her play, and then I see this 6'8", 15-year-old, and I'm like, do you play volleyball? He's like, oh, I'm a basketball player. I'm like, so am I. That doesn't mean you can't play volleyball. And he came to the tryout, and but the second he stepped in our gym and kind of got that feeling of a real competitive nature for men's volleyball, it changed his whole perspective. And he was like, I can do this for a long time. The rest was history, so I was happy I was able to get him there.
When it came to volleyball, you knew that's what he wanted to do, and he was going to play. With my son and him, there was fun, and they were silly, and they were typical boys. When Matt decided to play, Quinn met him at the door and was like, let's go, we're going to play, you're my guy, you're my big guy that I need in the middle, and they became instant best friends. The bond that they had was amazing.
He comes in and he just had that glow about him that was just so special. When you see your child have that special glow that he just really loves something so much and he enjoyed it, and he says, Dad, I'm gonna have fun this year. This is a great team, this is a good bunch of guys, and they were a great team. And I know Quinn made that special because he was recruiting Matt. And then once those two met, it was all over. They were just like 2 peas in a pod, they bonded.
Matt was fun. Matt always had a good time, so I think that's what was good with Quinn and Matt, was that Matt always brought fun into the game, and whether they were on the court or off the court, it was just, Matt was always having a good time, always a smile on his face.
He was so calm, something that our team, we were all obviously very competitive, but he was like the calm set that kept everyone controlled, which is weird that you don't get that from a new guy. Usually the new guy is the one that's trying to show everyone he can play. He's kind of the guy that I got to talk to away from the sport and away from the team, that I could just either vent to or just have a nice conversation with. And we had a lot of similarities. We really liked playing certain video games. We liked hanging out and just talking and watching TV. And he just was so different from a lot of the people I've met that it meant a lot to me that he was there to have these conversations, to play volleyball with, just to have on my side, because it was something that I haven't had before that. So it meant a lot to me off the court as well as on the court.
We found out in 6th grade he was a really amazing athlete, whatever he played, and we were just at a regular physical, and he was really tall. He was always super tall. He was a big kid no matter where he was at. His friends were here, he was up here even when he was 2. And they just wanted to do some extra tests. He was not having any problems at all. We found out that he had an enlarged aorta in his heart.
It deformed his heart a little bit, and his heart was kind of shaped like a 4-leaf clover. But a lot of our guys on our team, I know 2 of our guys have clover tattoos with his name and everything kind of shaped like a heart. The blood pumping, like it caused disruption and stuff like that. And obviously when you grow to 6'8" at such a young age, that heart it's trying to pump so much that's going on.
So at that point, we just continued with whatever the doctor said. We went for checkups every 6 months. They said maybe eventually someday, because of that, they were just going to watch the growth of it, and at some point they might have to do surgery, but they weren't that concerned. On June 6th, he was actually supposed to go to volleyball practice. He was super excited because the guys were getting back together after their high school season. And the club was about to start, and he was supposed to go to practice that morning, and he came down. He says, "Mom, I'm just not feeling good," and he kind of like this. And I thought, "Oh God, okay, we're going to the doctor." Went to the doctor. They took us we went straight to an emergency room. They ran tests on him for hours and hours, and they sent us home. And they said, "Everything looks good. Just keep an eye on him, kind of keep chill." And so we did, and then unfortunately he just stood up and.
And finally, some sad news about a Naperville Central athlete who died unexpectedly on June 6th.
I woke up and my grandma and grandpa were the ones that were looking after me. And they were the first ones they're like, "Don't look at your phone." And I was like, "Okay." And they're like, "Your mom's on the phone." And then she broke the news to me, and that's when we found out as a team that he had that rare heart condition and how it happened. It all kind of like started unfolding in that moment. Just like every 16-year-old, I just broke down. I couldn't control it. He was one of my best friends, and it was a lot. Luckily, our team was very close. As I've kind of said, like we were very close together, and we all luckily went to like a central point of our team, one of our Libiero's house at that time, and they housed everyone. And wasn't a lot of talking for the first couple of hours. It was more just soaking it in, just like that it happened, and a lot of questions and stuff. But we just knew that wasn't the right time to ask. But we probably were in that type of mode / did that for like 3 or 4 days straight. You kind of start connecting the dots a little bit on just like how special he was, that like he had a lot going on with him, but he didn't want to be treated differently. He wanted to be this competitor, and that he was able to keep it to himself. So I really do think that the reason he kept it very quiet was just because he didn't want to let us down as a team. But yeah, I'll never forget that day.
It's hard for me because I'm a firefighter paramedic to go through that. So to have my own son go down, I still have nightmares about it, but that I couldn't help my son. But my wife and our whole family, we believe that it was meant to be. He was a special person, and we think God came and took him for a reason, because he needed somebody like him, and he was just special, and it was his time.
Well, as a mother, I mean, losing a child, you can't really talk about or explain, because some people say, "Oh, you know, it's been 6 years," and then I turn around and I say, "Yeah, but it's been 6 years that I haven't seen my boy." So it's awful and it's terrible, but we have 2 amazing daughters that we just knew we had to get up every morning and put a smile on our face and do what we could do to honor Matt. And so I don't know where the strength comes from. It's just love, and the love I had from him, and I'm just blessed that I had 16 amazing years with him, because he was a great kid. Quinn was amazing. Quinn even spoke at Matt's funeral. You know, the bond that they had was pretty special, and kids like Quinn and other friends that he had, the team that they were on, you know, that helped us. You know, it's because of Matt that we have this relationship with Quinn and his family. You know, everyone kind of bonded after that, which I think is a gift to Matt's memory and who he was.
So I remember we went to an 18s court, and Joel was there, and I think Fern was there, the old coaches, and they were recruiting. And we kind of saw them, and we started looking up, like, oh, Ball State. Like, obviously I knew it through the MAC through my dad, but he wasn't too aware of it. And we looked up the arena, and we see it packed, and we see them ranked, and it was kind of like this cool thing of like, oh man, like they're really good. And you start seeing some other coaches, and I think they were just the first team we saw was the Ball State coaching staff. And we always like joked around / talked about like, oh, we'll go together. Like we'll go there, we'll get there, we'll play in Worthen. We called it the big arena at the time because we didn't know what it was called. Just from his perspective was like he deserved to be at this level and playing at this level, and just because his attitude, his work ethic, everything that came together, he deserved to do it. And I felt like I had to carry him on. Every day I talk to him roughly every day, especially on game days. I give him a little talk right before we get out there. So the first like 30-40 seconds, it's more just breathing and getting everything calmed down. And then as it's all wrapping up, it's kind of like a, hey Matt, like we're gonna need you today, help me out here. Even though sometimes, you know, we feel pretty confident going in games, but it's just for him to be on my shoulder helping me out, because when I get into certain moments where it's tense or it's 24-23, kind of like that, I guess we got into that Hawaii moment in that 5th set. I was a little tense, I was a little nervous, but it was just something where I was like, I knew he was there kind of calming me down, so it's just like it's like a, hey man, I really need you here tonight. Like, I know we can do this together. Love you. Definitely thank him, because I think a lot of my success is due to his motivation. I'd obviously tell him I miss him. I wish he was here, because I really do think that he'd be on this team and he'd be enjoying this season as much as I am right now, and he'd be celebrating as much as I am.
Here's back and gets the ace. She smoked that one.
If you watch Quinn, you can see that every day. And that kid loves what he's doing, and I do think that Matt kind of brought that spirit out of him a little bit more.
He's super open-minded to what we're trying to, feedback we're giving him, and he adjusts, and he's just is a really good dude. High character and loves to work hard. Even when we're trying to rest him, he's trying to work hard.
He is just a special person. But his one special quality, and I know he did it to my son, is he makes everybody around him a great player, you know, and that's what he did to our son. He made our son that much of a better player just because that's who he is, you know, and that's what attracts everybody to him. He has that something, that it factor that you always need, and probably why he's one of the best setters in the country. So, love you, Quinn.
Such an incredible story, and all of us here at SportsLink are so proud of Quinn and the entire men's volleyball team.
And with that, our show has come to an end. Wherever you may have been watching, online, television, or streaming, we are so thankful you chose to spend your last 30 minutes with us here in SportsLink.
And for the best stories in Ball State sports and live broadcasts, follow at BSU SportsLink on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter.
We'll see you in May for more SL Stories presented by Victory Honda of Muncie.